So appreciate you being here today. Michael has been generous to share some of our IP, our internal kind of intellectual property with you guys, and we're going to talk about going remote today. So Michael, thanks for letting us kind of be on here.
Oh, you bet. No, a pleasure. Heard of you guys for years, and it's nice to have you. So you bet.
Yep. So if you're coming in right now, it looks like we're getting more and more people jumping in. What I would love you to do, and I really appreciate you guys being here today, is find the chat box and go ahead and tell us that you're live today and the city that you're in. And one last thing, so before you jump on and start doing it, we're asking people for our Thrive score. Now, let me explain what a Thrive score is. A Thrive score is how optimistic are you about our country's ability to get through this, your community, your local community, and your business. So from a score of 1, which is horrible, like it's, we're never going to make it, to a 10, we're going to come out of this strong. Go ahead and just throw in there where you're at right here, right now. Eric, he's the winner. He is live. He's from San Diego, and he's 10, 10, 10, which is cool, man. Really appreciate that. We've got Cedric from Orange County. He's a 7. Appreciate your honesty with that, Cedric. Really awesome. Melanie from LA, number 8. LA's been hit hard by this craziness, so we got that. Michael's here. You're a 4, Michael. Is that right?
That's Sandy.
Okay, that's Sandy. All right, Sandy. I hope we're going to do a better job. Oh, we've got somebody from Brazil. I love it. Oscar, score of 8. Okay, so you guys keep those going. My name is Daniel Ramsey. I own a company called MyOutDesk. Here's our nice banner. And we're going to talk today about going remote. Michael has been gracious enough to allow us on and kind of interact. Today is supposed to be interactive. You kind of see this score. We've got Alvin in the background. He's going to facilitate and kind of help us with this. So we'll add up that score at the beginning, and then I'll ask you again at the end to give a score again and see how, if anything is shifted in your optimism. And we'll report that back to you. So we'll have a score in a couple minutes after everybody kind of goes through that. But Michael, do you want to just say anything to your folks before we get started?
Well, I think, this is a scary time, but it's also an opportunity. And I feel like it's gotten a lot less scary than it was 30 days ago. 30 days ago was like, I'll just say it, holy shit, right? It was like, right. What in the world is going on? What is this? And, now we kind of feel like, okay, we're going to be fine. It's going to be a little rough maybe, but we'll be okay. We're going to get through this, right? It's not like, how long is this going to go on? Are we ever going to get through this? So I see this, and honestly, what I always do is I look at the opportunities, and with this, I see this as, okay, wow, there's so much money moving around from here to there to this industry to that industry to, so there's huge opportunities. And so I'm actually kind of like, wow, this is exciting. I don't wish any harm, and I don't want to get sick, and I don't want to see anybody I love, get hurt or sick, or of course, but so I don't mean it that way, but I mean, there's a ton of opportunity coming out of this.
Yeah, I love that. Hey, Alvin, go ahead and in the chat, post the thing that I emailed over to you. It's interesting because we're in California. Our business is in Sacramento, California, and our governor just put out like the future of work. And there's an interesting person at Salesforce. That's the company that we use for our CRM, and there's a chief future officer. So if you guys can just look at the chat right there, there's a really good kind of statement about the future of office and commercial and like what's going to happen to our economy. I'm going to read it for those of us who are joining us via phone versus in camera or at your home or on a smartphone or whatever. But here's what he said. Where do we go from here? A lot of this will stick, but not all of it. says Peter Schwartz, the Chief Future Officer at Salesforce and a member of Governor Gavin Newsom's newly formed California's Future of Work Commission. Schwartz is a renowned futurist and has projections for what a good post-pandemic workplace might look like. This is the part that's always interesting. People who are saying this is what the future looks like. He says, I think it's going to change the nature of the office. It's going to be a place where people come together, but not where they do work. The reason people want to go to an office is to be with other people. And we're naturally gregarious animals, and informal communication doesn't happen when working alone via electronic means. So basically, this futurist is saying, hey, look, office space has changed. There's no doubt about that. He's also saying that's going to affect infrastructure. That's going to, we're going to see a decrease in consumption from consumers. So that's going to affect industrial and warehouse. And it's just every part of the commercial world is going to be affected. And so today's conversation is like, how do you zig and zag and actually shift to take advantage of those changes? And to your point, Michael, money is flowing in. You guys might have seen all this money being raised by Wall Street because they're getting ready to buy distressed assets, right? And so the whole world is about to, open up and have a lot of opportunity.
Yeah, and it's gonna be different, right? So the office, I was talking about this in my last series. We started doing these series every Thursday at 1:00, and we were talking about how the certain product types are going to do really well, in my opinion, like industrial, medical marijuana. That money is still there. All that, in fact, medical marijuana, I believe, was an essential business, right?
Right.
So all that money's there, and there was all this demand for those product types, and you couldn't find anything, and it's still going to be real strong, I believe, and the distribution side of it is so. Office is going to be kind of interesting, like you just said. People, in like you're reading there, where people are going to probably realize, maybe I don't need all these employees to actually come in. Maybe this is okay. Maybe they are more productive. Maybe they are able to, and right. So I think we'll see a lot of that. And so that's either it's interesting what they're saying there is that they still will keep it so people can get together, right? Which is a huge point. I know that even on my team, we have people who work from home, and they're like, well, it would be nice to kind of get together, it would be nice to go out and go to an event or things like this. So should be interesting for sure. But in like retail, if you look at retail, are your tenants, Jim's sandwich shop? Well, they may not make it back at all, right? Is it Subway? Where they have a corporate guarantee, where they're backed by all that, so they're probably going to be okay. So I think even within the retail sector, it's not just a blanket, that's going to be hurt real bad, because it may not be. So it should be interesting.
Well, and I think there's going to be some that don't make it and some that do make it. And I think the ones that don't make it there's going to be opportunity in that for commercial folks and even residential folks. Anytime there's a down market, I think the saying is, you work really hard in a down market, and then you collect as many assets as you possibly can, and then you collect in the up market all of your wealth. And so I think that's kind of realistic about what's going to happen. Guys, if you're listening right now, Michael, I want you to make that point, but our average Thrive score, which is always very cool, is an 8.7. So out of everybody that showed up today, we're at a B+ area, So that's pretty good. I know when we first started collecting these scores, we were, a bit lower. So, as you were saying, we're getting back through this. Michael, what were you going to say earlier? Sorry.
Your point about work real hard during the downtime, or something that you just said. I've been through a couple different shifts, and this is my third. I started when I was 20, started with 10.
Yeah.
Each time what I was coached to do, and I'm so glad that I had coaches and have coaches, was to just work harder, right? So I remember in the 90s coming home. I was on a really regimented schedule at that time. And I came home and sat my wife down and my daughter and literally sat them down and said, you know, hey, look, I need to go from 2 hours a day lead generation to 3 every day. And what that means to you is I'm going to be coming home an hour later and not be around as much. And, you know, I need to do this right now so I can keep making the same amount of money, if not more than what we've been making before. So I'm sorry to do this, but Bethany, I know you want my daughter. I know you want that new bike, right? And I know you want that vacation this summer. And, oh, it's okay, Daddy. Yeah, you stay that extra hour. you know,
Yeah.
so you're going to have to do that. This next 30 days, 60 days, 90 days, who knows how long, is going to be hard. It's like going uphill. And
Sure.
when you're going up the hill, you want to attack that hill and go fast and get that momentum. That's what you need to do right now, in my opinion. And then as things start to level off, it'll make it a little easier for you in the long run. So what you said was really spot on. I just wanted to really emphasize that.
Okay, that's cool. Yeah, I think one of the things that we're going to do, not only do you have to work harder, but you might have to work differently. And so today's conversation is about going remote, and we're going to share some tools and just some tricks and tips. And we're going to talk about virtual assistants. That's what we do. And I'm going to go through a slide deck. Guys, the chat area is for comments. And then there's a Q&A section too. So we're monitoring both the question and answers as well as kind of your thoughts. So if you wanted to weigh in, I know Eric already has, so thank you, Eric. I think that's really awesome of you. He said your mindset has to be a 10-10-10. And I think you're absolutely right. So I appreciate you guys doing that. This is meant to be interactive and question and answers. We're going to talk about going remote with MyOutDesk. We're a real estate virtual assistant company, and we've served over 5,000 clients. I had the pleasure of, this is my third kind of downturn, like Michael. I don't have 4 on my belt, but I got 3. So that's good. And we grew up in the last downturn. In 2007, I hired my first virtual assistant as a real estate broker. And so we're going to go through maybe an area that you can add value to your business and get those projects done, like building out your database, building out your marketing campaigns, getting your operational systems all set so that you can focus on more prospecting and getting more deals. So we're going to go through all those things today. Yeah, just really appreciate you guys for being here. So I'm going to share screens. And we are going to rock. That's my favorite. We're going to rock and roll. My kids love that statement. Okay, so here we are. This is MyOutDesk. We've been in the real estate space for, since 2007, and we've served over 5,000. In fact, Michael, we're at like 5,900 and some change with clients that we've served over that time frame. So really excited and thankful about that. And we've basically brought virtual assistants to the real estate world. So that's something that's a little bit different about who we are and what we've done. I wanted to start off with our first commercial client. This guy, his name's Ken Wemberly. He's out of Texas. One of the things that he brought to us was the idea that commercial brokers actually had more opportunity than the residential guys. And what he has his virtual assistant doing every single day is mining his emails, helping him create the list of people he's going to call, organizing all of his operational team, making sure the communication in his calendar is clear. What I love about this story is he said he's got a 5-to-1 return on his virtual assistants. So that's for us, that's a really, really cool number. And it's also a great testimony from somebody who's a commercial broker and actually effectively using our virtual assistants. This is our path. And one thing that I want to make sure that we're talking about is growing business. In the whole MyOutDesk world, the only way we work together is if we've got a very clear path to help people succeed. And if you're looking at the screen right now, you may be in one of these 3 different sections of your real estate career. You might be in the I do it. Meaning you're the only one on the team. You're closing deals, you're doing transactions, but it's just you. You might also be in the we do it, meaning you might have an assistant or a marketing professional or maybe somebody that you share in the office as a resource to you. But the we do it is really kind of the strength area. That's typically where we come in and help a lot of real estate brokers kind of create those systems and process. each time you're going from one section to the next section, there's a key component. And in that first is the I do it. You can kind of see here at the bottom, it's the initial learning. So when you're in the I do it, you're learning, how do I sell? Who's my market? Who are the people that I'm going to generate the most revenue from? And how do I get at them? Like, how do I find them? How do I work with those people? But the thing that moves you from the I do it to the we do it is that learning, that consistent improvement, that consistent, like basically being a member of Michael's group and just continuing to self-develop. What moves you to the we do it space is creating systems and process. So this is the space where, like, without a system or a process, you really can't have somebody else help you in your real estate career. A great example, you know, and Michael, I'm gonna stop and we're gonna just chat for just a hot second. But this is what happened for me, and maybe somebody on this call you guys can understand or be a part of this. I'm on my honeymoon. I'm a real estate broker. It's 2009. I'm on my honeymoon, and I'm at the bar at 2 a.m. and I'm closing a transaction. I'm like typing because we're in Guatemala. I'm typing I'm typing out a contract and I'm negotiating it in Guatemala. It's 2 a.m. and there was just nobody else that could help me because I'd never built the systems or process inside of my real estate. I didn't have, a licensed assistant. I didn't have a huge team. It was basically, at that time, it was me. And what happened for me, and you might identify with this, Michael, or maybe somebody in the audience, but I'm at the bar. The bartender takes my phone, takes a picture of me. I'm angry. It's 2 a.m. I've got a beautiful bride back in the bungalow. We're basically in the Francis Ford Coppola resort, right? We're in the trees, and there are monkeys around, and it's just this beautiful, gorgeous thing. And what I realized at that moment is if I wanted to stay married, if I wanted to build a business, I needed to have something shift in my life. I don't know, Michael, any thoughts around that?
Yeah, well, a ton. I mean, I could talk for the whole thing on hiring and delegating, but
Yep.
it's critical. And I think that people, you want a real estate business, and it's called a business and not a
Right.
job, right? It's a business, and a business means you get to make money while you're not working, and that you shouldn't have to go on your honeymoon and still have to do all that. That's a job.
Yep.
And I think what happens a lot of times, people have this control, like, your typical D personality style, or your salesperson is typically a DI personality style, and they have
Yep.
control issues. I have control issues, right?
Right.
So nobody can do it like me, right?
Right.
It's not true, right? People can do it like you. In fact, they can do it better than you. And then it's like you just said with the 1, 2, 3.
Mm-hmm.
It's no longer me doing it. It's somebody else doing it through my process and system. And they're doing it better than I was doing it before. And I'm not doing it anymore. So
Yep.
I think it's just control. One is control, and two, it's not wanting to slow down. For me, process. I hate processes. Like, I hate typing and writing and putting things together and explaining how to do this. And I just do it, right? So that's your issue in a lot of cases, is that if you don't stop that, you can't duplicate yourself or those tasks as easy. Where if you have processes and systems in place, if you will document it, then you can duplicate it, right? And so that whole 3-step thing was awesome. I was really digging that.
Yeah, we're going to go back to it. Real quick, Ed, I love Ed's comment. He said it's similar to technician, manager, and entrepreneur, that model. So I think you're spot on, Ed, and we're going back to those slides. One thing in the We Do It, when you build the systems and process and you can hand that off, one of the things that I like to help our clients with, and if you're listening right now, this might be a write it down thing, but there are certain things in a business that only I can do. Like, there are things even in this business that only I can do. Michael and I connected for the first time. We were able to, kind of get a connection and talk. My employees couldn't have done that, right? But that's the one thing that it's necessary for me to do. So as an entrepreneur, one of the things that you have to do is you have to say, hey, what are the things that I love doing? And then what are the things that only I can do? And that should actually be the majority of your job, right? So in the next section, you're talking about people and vision, casting vision, explaining where you're going. And that's the other job of a leader, is just kind of going, hey, I'm planting the flag in the future, and this is where I want to go. And then rallying the troops to come with you in that process. We call this the 7-figure business roadmap. It's part of our methodology in helping clients understand how important it is to document your systems and process and lead. And it's one of our key tenets to determining, like, what am I doing every single day in my world that I should stop doing and give to a virtual assistant, and I should start focusing on as an entrepreneur and a leader. So the next piece, this is actually a really great slide too, because what we did is we took today's business landscape and we broke it down. Most businesses don't have an understanding of where they fall in these different revenue scenarios. 96% of businesses are below $1 million in revenue. So, I mean, that's a huge percentage. 96% of businesses are below $1 million in revenue. Now this is nutty. Only 4% of businesses ever actually break that $1 million mark and get to between 1 and 10 million. And then only 0.4% ever get over 10 million, and only 17,000 get over 50 million. So if you're thinking, hey, how hard is it to win in business? This gives you some ideas about what the business landscape is in today's world. One of my favorite things to help people with is we all have our different challenges. And I just shared my experience on my honeymoon. Like Michael said, I'm a control freak. I like to hold on to things and make sure things go exactly the way I do, or I'd like them to go. So one of the tenets that we help our clients with is, how do you create a process and a system, and how do you really outsource the real estate piece of my business, the stuff that doesn't necessarily matter but still has to be done. And so I've spent the last 13 years on stage, on webinars, helping people discover those things. One of the cool benefits is that we wrote a book, and I don't know if you can see this, but if you're looking right now and if you're with us live, at the end of this, I'm going to give this away. And it's basically all of the tools and tricks that I personally have used to build MyOutDesk and also build a very successful real estate company. So 13 years, 5,000 clients, we put all that love and good stuff into a book, and we're going to give that away at the end of this hour together. A lot of people ask, like, why should I outsource, or what are some of the benefits? And the biggest thing that I can tell you is that if you haven't yet outsourced or hired a virtual assistant, you're behind all of the Fortune 500 companies, meaning companies like Kellogg, 80% of their business is out of the US. 66% of GE, UT, United Technology, 68%, Whirlpool, 80%. So most major corporations have been outsourcing since the 70s and 80s. Most small and medium-sized businesses have never had access to talent abroad. And so today we're basically going to share with you exactly what you can get from folks, and in our case, we're in the Philippines, but around the world, and what are some of the options for a real estate commercial broker. This is what we call the mod growth stack. And you can kind of see, and we put this together so that people would have a basic idea and understanding of exactly the things that we do for real estate brokers. First is administrative. This is my favorite thing. You don't need to, manage your own calendar. You don't need to answer your own phone. You don't need to do your own paperwork. You can actually create a system and a process and hand that over. Things like CoStar, entering listings, getting the right marketing photos, getting vendors to do their part of the transaction. This is all these things can be given away to an administrative person, as well as a marketing person. So the next thing is like, hey, I need flyers. I need to make sure that my website is optimized. I need to make sure that all of my social posts are out there. One of the things about commercial brokers is if you actually had a social media presence and like a Google presence and a website that was your own, separate from maybe the company that you work with or work for, you'd be ahead of 99% of commercial real estate brokers. Most don't have those things. And so one of the things that we do for our clients is actually put together, you know, all of the opportunity that is in the marketing space to create online marketing messages, websites, social media, all the stuff that really can actually give you exposure, unlike other commercial real estate brokers. One of my favorite positions next is the inside sales team. Now, in the commercial world, you might be gathering data in LexisNexis or CoStar or some of the data providers, but those folks, they need to be called on a regular basis, and you need to find out who the decision makers are. One of my favorite roles here at MyOutDesk is just somebody to prospect and somebody to kind of give calls to people and just see what their interest is in possibly, you know, moving to a different space or possibly cashing out. This is going to be a weird time frame when a lot of people are going to want to sell, but they're not quite sure what their value of their property is. So one of the things that you could provide is, hey, we're checking in, want to make sure that if you had an interest, you had a resource to get a valuation for your property. Inside sales is one of our favorite roles. And then service and support. One of the coolest things is just real estate brokers are always out. They're always out on their phone, meeting with people. And that doesn't mean that somebody shouldn't answer your phone. If somebody calls, we have folks who can be on the support side and the administrative side and just be what I call the director of communication, just to make sure everything is flowing. I'm going to pause here and just ask that you guys have some questions or answers, or this is a good spot to kind of just test where everybody's at. Michael, how are you feeling about all this?
Good. Yeah, I think, you know, one of the common challenges people have with inside sales is nobody, you know, some people will say, I can't, you know, only I can call, right? Because only I know what to say and I know how to have the in-depth conversation with a commercial client.
Yep.
To demonstrate my knowledge and expertise. So sometimes people get stuck with that, but explain how you are sharing and training your, you know, your team to hand that off to the commercial agent and not be caught up in that.
Yeah, one of the things that's really important, and guys, we're taking questions and your comments are always welcome. The ISA piece, the reality is most commercial brokers have a very good referral game, meaning most of their business is coming from referral or their network or somebody that they know and trust, right? Well, after you nail that, it's very hard to get beyond that network, right? And it's hard to really grow and scale. So the next level of that is either recruiting junior brokers to come on your team, right? And start prospecting for you and with you. And that means you have to build lists and you have to have an offer and you have to actually, you know, start building out a whole inbound marketing team and an ISA team, somebody that's following up on, you know, inquiries of properties that you have as listings, as well as talking to tenants who may possibly want to move, you know, leasing deals, right? So we're helping brokers understand where do they drive their business? Like what is their primary driver of business? And then what do they need to build or what do they need to do differently in order to get to that next level? Remember that the 7-figure business roadmap? We're like, okay, you've got a great referral game, but do you have any outbound marketing? Are you currently sending out flyers or mailers? Are you doing anything to really drive inbound calls? And so we walk through what that would look like and what they would have to start doing or stop doing in order to make that transition where you go from a, you know, solopreneur, kind of doing your own thing, I do it space to a we do it, and you add calling, outbounding to people.
So are you scripting them on the folks who are making the calls and helping them, you know, learn when to, okay, look, let me pass it off at that point?
No, man, that's why we partner with people like you. I mean, to be frank, you know, like that's the beauty of, you know, working with coaching platforms or people that really have a clear understanding of what works at a high level on the commercial and residential space, really. And when you pair a very motivated client, really high caliber talent like MyOutDesk, and then a coaching platform like yourself, I mean, that's the winning formula for us, because it is challenging. And if you've never done that kind of marketing or prospecting out to people that you don't know or you don't already have a relationship with, it can be really challenging.
Yeah, so I'm going to say this, you guys. There's four, kind of going back just for a second to what he was talking about, what Daniel was talking about, that you get paid to do 4 high dollar activities: list, sell, negotiate, prospect.
Right.
Somebody maybe could type that in the chat, or list, sell, negotiate, prospect. Only I can go on listing appointments and get that priced right, unless I have a listing specialist. Only I should be negotiating the deal unless I have somebody really good. Only I should be prospecting unless I have a door knocker or a lead generator on telemarketer, things like that. And
Yep.
only I should be showing, right? List, sell, show, negotiate, list, sell, negotiate, prospect. Sell being showing, right? Only I should be out looking at properties,
Right.
buyers, unless I have a great buyer's agent. So everything I just said is only, those are the 4 high dollar activities. You should be delegating everything else. And guess what? Whenever someone says I'm not making the amount of money I'd like to make, I'm going to say, well, let's see what you're doing. What's your calendar like? What's your activity? And where are they spending most of their time? On the stuff, right? Instead of delegating that stuff, which is what they should be doing. Delegating everything, what I just said. Now, the list, sell, negotiate, prospect, I also said only I should be doing that unless I have somebody who's very good. So what you also said, Daniel, was it's a challenge. It's a challenge having people that are trained to do one of those 4 activities, but it can be done. And I've done it, and we're doing it now today. So it absolutely can be done. But just understand that you can use these virtual assistants for, what I've seen over the years with you guys, Daniel, is you've really gone from just being able to do admin to being capable of doing inside sales and much, much more, because your skill set of your team is gone up. So now your ability, it used to be before, you guys, a lot of the virtual assistants were known for having the language barriers, right? In that sense, where now that's not so much the case. So you can really use these you can use these virtual assistants for not just admin, and you should be using them for admin. If you're not using them for admin, then guess who's the admin?
Yeah. Well, and ask yourself what you're worth an hour. That's my final slide of today's presentation, is you have to ask yourself, like, what are you worth today? If you're prospecting, listing, negotiating, or selling, right? What's your hourly rate when you're doing that work? And then what's your hourly rate if you're doing your own paperwork or your own calendar stuff, or you're scheduling your vendors to going out to a property? Like, when you do those blended, kind of org charts of having a virtual assistant do the stuff that just really has to get done, but it's not super important, like it doesn't require a high level of skill, like that's when the whole world opens up. Ed, I'd like to see something regarding the stay-at-home order environment. The virtual office model has been around for a decade before this order. Yeah, we're going to talk about that. In fact, Ed, I'm going to give away our, so today, Michael, when we were first talking, he's like, wait a minute, Daniel, you're going to give away a book. You're going to give away our Go Remote guide. You're going to basically give all this stuff out for free. And I'm like, absolutely, because I want his audience, I want you guys to be successful. So one of our free gifts today, and I'm just going to do it now so you can get it real quick. If you wanted a Go Remote guide, so it's 12 pages of everything that we do as a company. Remember, we've had almost 6,000 clients. That means we've had 6,000 virtual assistants who've all worked at home, meaning we've been for 13 years a stay-at-home, shelter-in-place company, and so we created all these systems and processes around that prior to the pandemic, and now we're in a space where we're just simply sharing that information. So all you have to do to get that, if you're listening, is text the letters right here, went the wrong way, MOD to 31996, and you'll get our full, complete 12-page Go Remote. This is a funny thing. It has etiquette in it. It has all the systems that you need, and it shows you how to do the work and what to do. my favorite thing is like, hey, if you got to go bathroom, you don't want to in a chat platform say, hey guys, I'm going to go potty, right? Or I'm going to go, like my 4-year-old, I have a 4-year-old daughter. She's like, daddy, I got to go potty. You don't want to put that on your chat platform with your team or your coworkers, right? So one of the things that we do is it's bio break. I'm going on a bio break, be right back. So we have even funny little chat things that you can use in the office environment to stay connected with your people. And all you have to do to get that is just text MOD to 31996 and you'll get that. And this is to my Ed's question, Michael. Sorry for that. I can talk. I'm a sales guy, right? So I can talk. Yeah. Here's the thing. We took that Go Remote guide and we gave it to our clients. So we have about 1,000 clients in total. And we said, look, we've been doing this for 13 years. Here is our version of it with our marketing, our stuff on top of it. Go ahead and take ours off and then add yours to it. So Ed's question is like, hey, what do I do in a pandemic? What are the things, what should we be doing or saying to our clients, or what should we be giving? We're still in a space of exchanging cash for value. Now, normally we're doing it in commissions, or normally we're doing it in deals that we're putting together, whatever the case is. But now, you know, for about 30, 45 days, most of the country has been locked in their home. So guess what? A guide of how to be productive when you're stuck at home, that's something that most people need or want. So if you wanted to, you could put together that, put your logo on top of it, and then send it out to your clients. You know, give your commercial clients or even your sphere of influence or your referral partners something of value that they can use today. And I think that's how you win in today's environment, you know?
Yeah, I agree with you completely. I think what happened with us, we're a training company and coaching company. And so we have realized that we need to do more virtual for years. And people have been saying, you need to do more of this online. And yeah, I just, I'm busy. I don't have time to figure that out. Well, guess what? We just got thrown into an environment where you better figure it out or you're in deep trouble. Yep. And so we're now in that position. And what we've been doing is, we've been doing these series every Thursday at 1:00. I encourage all you guys to jump on the series. And where you get the registration would be go to our website or go to our customer service education at the NCREA.com. Education at the NCREA.com is our email. And if somebody's on there, I see somebody's chatting on my behalf. So if you want to put a link in there,
we will
register, that'd be great. But if you go on that series, everything that we're talking about is what you just said is, okay, how do we do everything that we've been doing live? How do we start doing it virtually? And one of the big differences is your listing presentation. And tomorrow I'm doing a listing presentation and I'm going to kind of demo how you do that virtually. And so I'm not sure exactly what Ed's questions were in regards to that, but hopefully those two answers, what you said and what I just said, help him a little bit in terms of it's different, right? I mean, it's like if I go meet, this is important, guys. If I go meet Daniel in person, the first thing we're going to do is, hey, Daniel, shake your hand.
Shake my hand, yeah.
We're going to build some rapport, right? I'm going to what's your 4-year-old son? I'm going to find you're a commercial broker in the past.
Yeah.
I'm going to find something in common with him. Well, guess what? You don't have the really ability to do that right now in the same way, right? It's like, okay, now I jump on the Zoom. I've got my kid out here. I've got my wife in the other room. I've got, who knows what's going on in their world, right? So number one is what's going on in Daniel's world right now? What do I know? What do I think I might know about his situation to try and make him more relaxed and make this easier for him? And forget the rapport stuff, forget the sales stuff that I'm number one this and I'm going to do this and do this stuff. That's all gone out the window, you guys. It's different. It's not the same. You've got to come in differently. And so these are the things that you need to understand. And I don't want to suck up all your time on that right now. But join us on the series. It's free. I'm not, pitching anything. Just join the series and where I've got a couple hours and I'll demonstrate and share with you how you do those kinds of things, because it is a little bit different for sure.
When I would I love what we're talking about. I think this is good value for the audience. So I would think we just keep going. One of our clients who is a commercial real estate broker, and they own, I think it's 200 different commercial, shopping centers. So they're a big retail shopping center kind of investor. And his name's Ray, and he's out of Texas. And I really love this guy because when this all went down, his first line of action was, I'm going to help my tenants market. Like, he happened to have a digital marketing person on his team and a marketing assistant and like a real team. And he'd been marketing because he wanted to find deals himself, right? And so he had this team. And so he had a couple struggling retail tenants, restaurants and retail. And he's like, hey guys, let us help you. Let us help you through this by upping your marketing, upping your influence, upping the amount of time that you're out there spending. Now, it didn't work for some of his clients, but some of the people who were leasing his buildings were like, this is actually what we needed. We needed this support, and he's a commercial guy, he's a commercial broker, and he's a landlord. So, what you're saying and what I'm saying is that time is different, and it's time to adapt to what the new realities are. And it's not necessarily, you're not going to be selling. Another client of ours is a office cleaner. They clean offices, and we help them with their admin and their books and a bunch of their administrative. And here's another thing. We just answer the phone for them, like we just answer their phone. Right. Well, she was struggling, like, hey, what's my new world when there's nobody in the office anymore? Like, who am I going to, I'm not cleaning anything, right? So she and we were talking back and forth, and guess what? She's now the certified COVID-19 cleaner in her town.
That's awesome.
So what did she do? She changed her website. She went to the CDC and she got all of the steps. She's trained her employees about how to not infect a space, even if they're infected. And they've put protocols in place so that now they're cleaning every surface with stuff that kills COVID-19, right? So now all of a sudden she's getting calls off the chain because these companies that want to protect their employees and stay open, they need somebody to come in at nights and clean. So guess what? Office cleaner, gonna go broke, gonna lose everything. She shifted her value proposition, and now she is absolutely in the game.
And she's certified.
Well, I mean, here's the reality. She, and she explains that in her marketing, and she explains what she's doing. Mm-hmm. And the realities are she's out there serving a market niche that, that just simply wasn't there prior. That's like Joe had a comment. I want to just acknowledge you, Joe, for coming in here and sharing. Here's what Joe said. This is really the best advice. People don't mind paying the commission if you show your value, whether it's service business or a specialty business or even a haircut. It's all the same. So I think, yeah, Joe, you're spot on. I need a haircut though, man. I gotta say.
Hey.
Yeah, you're looking good, man. You're surviving this just fine. Okay, I'm gonna throw the slides back, guys. You guys have been awesome. I'm just gonna get back into it. Here is one of the craziest things about this particular world, is that outsourcing has been around forever. And this guy said it best. Now he's a guy in Washington, DC, and his world is every single MBA school, any school of business has been driving into every business person that's come through their class. If you should focus on your core competency, for us, that's real estate, and you should outsource everything else. Outsource your admin, outsource your books, outsource your marketing. Because guess what? The thing that you do in your business is serving clients. And so in his space, this is a no-brainer. I want to walk you guys through our process. A lot of people, like Michael in the beginning was like, hey, what's their English like? Are they smart? Can I communicate with them? Will they actually help grow my business? Do I really know, what's going on in their world? Here's the reality. our interviewing process is insane. I'm a commercial broker. Michael, I was just walking a building that I purchased several months ago because we're having the floors polished, right? We've pulled out carpet and now we're going to have the concrete polished. It's a small 2-unit kind of commercial space. And I'm walking the floor with a guy this morning. And the reality is, I know how important it is to have A players on the team. And so we built this process to bring the best of the best to you as our client. So we had 22,000 applicants last year, 8,000 initial interviews, 3,500 final interviews, 1,600 people began training with us, meaning they do some work, and then only 509 candidates got actually endorsed to clients. We also put them through an FBI grade background check, employment check. We do a personality profile. You'd mentioned high Ds and high Is. We're hiring people that are complementary to you. If you're a high D, you don't want to work with another high D. We're going to get you an S or a C, somebody who's compliant or pays attention to the details. And so these are the things that we're going to help you do. And this is all before you ever interview somebody with us. So these are all steps that they go through. Another thing that it's crazy is we have them go through interviews and all of this process way before you interview them. One thing that our doctor, we actually have a doctor on staff in the Philippines, and you actually have to get a physical before you get endorsed to a client. We want healthy folks who are working for our clients. So I'm going to pause right there. Michael, what's been your experience, talking with Alvin, talking with Elle, being in this process with us?
Well, first, the company, my wife is corporate, right? She comes from a corporate background. So corporate backgrounds, they're used to hiring and training, and they have systems and processes. Salespeople like me, I have no systems. I have no process. I don't even know what those are.
Right.
And so what did I do to hire people before? Hey, I like you, right? You're kind of, and why? Because you're like me. So you'll be great. Well, that's not how you should hire people. And so
right.
When I opened my franchises, they taught us a lot on hiring and systems and processes for doing that. So I learned a ton on that. And it was very enlightening. The fact that you guys can do that and take a lot of that, most people don't know how to do that. And so the fact that you guys can do those things saves a lot of time and knowledge that I just may not have as a salesperson. So I didn't know you guys did that. That's actually pretty cool that you do those things before I even get to them. So it saves my time. But no, my experience is working with you guys has been wonderful. You've helped us out a lot. So just this right here, just these kinds of tips and strategies has been huge, and your team is first class. And you guys have been around for a long time. Everyone's heard of MyOutDesk. So
I love it. Stephen in the chat says that we want to remind people that A students work for C students, and I love that because I wasn't an A student, so I think that's great acknowledgement. Guys, we're going to wrap up. I've got a couple offers for you guys. And I just want to acknowledge you, Michael, for having us here. Also letting you know that right now is the Q&A time. If anybody has any thoughts or concerns or questions about what a virtual assistant could do for your particular business, what I want to do, and I want to invite you to come and have a consultation with us. We're going to follow up with you. If you want it, fine. If you don't, it's 100% free. We're going to give away a copy of our book. So in that book, everything that you need for going remote, everything that you need for hiring virtual assistants, even if you don't hire us, take the book and read about how to build a system and process. I think that's what we should focus on real quick. I'll share one methodology with you guys before we wrap up. My favorite thing is building a system and process, doing something we call play, pause, do. And Michael, this will be great because I think you'll really appreciate it too. Play, pause, do is where you're on a computer screen like we are right now, a Zoom call or something. You're recording your computer, and then you're recording your screen. You're talking while you're actually doing. So let's say you take a listing and you want to throw it into co-star, or you want to put a marketing flyer together, or you have a particular way of putting a contract together, you can actually record your screen and actually talk about the how, what, and why of actually putting together a contract, right? How you every single time put it together the same kind of contract. The terms might change, but those are the things that change. But most of a contract is most of the stuff is all the same, right? And so you'll record your screen and you talk about the how, what, and why while you're actually doing the process. Okay. If you make 3 to 5 of those, now you have a documented process that a virtual assistant could actually follow for you. And you could be on the road, find a deal, and have a contract out so you can review it very fast. In this world of nimble Corona times, you want to get moving quick, right? And you could actually have somebody doing your paperwork for you with just simply creating 3 to 5 videos. We call that process the play, pause, do process. I don't know, Michael, what are your thoughts around that?
That sounds interesting. It sounds very cool. I also wanted to mention that you guys, I've seen some of your tips on some basic stuff. You know, some people are really basic. This is new, and I overheard my wife in the other room here doing a Zoom with somebody, and she said, "No, hit the red button and turn your camera on." You know, people are still trying to figure that out, right? So
that's right.
You have some tips that you guys have seen, like lighting and sound and mics and some of the basic fundamentals. So you know, reach out to you guys on. You want to say anything about that?
Yeah, I'm gonna share screens again and just show you guys our offers today. And if you're listening and you think this might be of value, definitely text MOD to 31996. Get your free Go Remote. I like the R&D, rip off and redistribute. If you're here with us today, you understand what we're offering and what we're giving away. Take it and repurpose it for your business. I think that would be the best thing that you could do. Also, if you come in and decide to do a consultation with us, we're going to give you a copy of our book. It's called Scaling Your Business with Mod Virtual Professionals. Okay, so MyOutDesk Mod Virtual Assistants, basically. And again, it's a very short, easy, fun read, but it gives you everything that you need to know and everything that you need to do in order to actually take advantage of this blended market, which is, you know, you're doing the 4 most important things, like Michael has said. And then everything else is given to a virtual assistant, so you can double or triple your income and build a real business in today's world. And here's the quote, Michael. Just like I told you, either you have an assistant or you are the assistant. It really is your choice. That's it. That's our whole presentation, you guys. I really appreciate you. Before you go, guys, and please, on a scale of 1 to 10, please give us your Thrive score one more time. I'm a big fan of getting that score at the end. We'll share it with you guys. You know, we'll definitely share it with Michael so you can send it out to your world. But I appreciate you guys being here. I hope you take advantage of all these offers. And Michael, I just want to let you wrap this up and thank you for having us today.
Yeah, you bet. And, you know, I just wrap up by saying that, hey, I don't have any benefit from you guys getting assistance and working with MyOutDesk. I have no financial benefit whatsoever. I've always suggested people hire. If you've ever been in any of my trainings, you've heard me get on my rants and raves about that, because you make too much money in real estate, or you have the ability to, if you'll focus on the things you need to focus on. You know, if you're going to hire and then go kick back and sit on the beach, then, you know, that's not going to give you a return. But if you're going to go to work and you're willing to go to work, then hire and stop with stuff, right? And look at it as a 90-day. Don't look at it as like, oh, I'm going to pay this much for 12 months. Look at it as, hey, if things don't work out in 90 days, you know, we're not going to stay together. You know, that's how I've always done that. And so, I just can't encourage it enough. If you don't have an assistant of some sort, a virtual assistant right here is a perfect solution for you in your business, and you'll make 2-3 times your money, especially right now. If you go to work, and you should be getting up in the morning with a plan of going into lead generation mode. And what I mean by that is just touching people, right? 2
Yep.
to 3 hours every single day. And everything else will take care of itself. You will get through this market if you do what I just said. You will get through and you'll thrive. I promise you, you'll thrive. You'll come out on the other end going, wow, look at how much market share I've captured. And all the other people are hiding under the covers or went into fear mode and didn't know what to do. You just stay proactive and you'll be great. You'll do very well.
That's nuts. You know, we had Cedric and another guy say that our text code is not working. So if you text and it worked, could you just post in the chat that it was working for you? Because I'm not sure if Cedric, you're doing it wrong, but we'll follow up with you guys and get you a copy of not only our Go Remote Guide, but the book if you want. Okay. Andrea says it worked. It worked. Okay. So good. What you want to do is in the number place where you'd normally put a text, you put 31996. And in the message place, you just put MOD, mod. So I just want to acknowledge you guys. I also love, there was somebody in here, Joe has an 11, so his new Thrive score is 11. So that's good. And our post-webinar Thrive score is 9.8. So there you go, guys. We did it together. I really appreciate you guys for being here. If you need anything, our website is MyOutDesk.com. Michael, you're amazing. We will do anything to serve or help your community. So just reach out to us. And I just want to thank you and acknowledge everybody for being here today.
Thank you for having us. Appreciate it very much.
Okay.
Great job.
Bye, guys. Thank you.
See you guys.